the Mame Penguin. It's 3 a.m. and I am 12 weeks pregnant as of today. So I wanted to go over the first trimester. We found out at about almost exactly, I think, 4 weeks. We found out August 10th, and my last period cycle was July 11th. So about just exactly 4 weeks-ish, you know, give or take a couple days. And the day we found out was, I did just the first response, the pink tests, and it had a very light pregnant line. And my husband and I weren't really expecting it, so we were just kind of looking like, okay, and he wasn't sure, like, well, it's so skinny, is it really, are you really pregnant? And I'm like, any line is a pregnant line, so there you go. And then the next day, the next morning, I took a clear blue digital test with weeks indicator, and it said 2 to 3 weeks, so that would have been the 10th. So August 10th, I was 2 to 3 weeks, and then you add 2 weeks, so that means 4 to 5 weeks pregnant then. So since then, I felt pretty good week 5 and 6, and then until week 6, and then at week 6, I started getting really nauseous, and then actually from week 6, I also started looking for a midwife and searching through that doctor area. We went to see I called a midwife in my city that took our type of insurance, and she's like, I'm already booked for the month of April, and she only takes like three patients at one time, so she's told me to try a city an hour away. So I called the one person in that city that took my type of insurance, and we met with her, but I kind of didn't like that I had to drive an hour for each appointment and sit there with my daughter, and there was just a few other things. She didn't seem extremely professional. So and not only that, but we had issues with, I need a RhoGAM shot, and she can't do certain newborn testing, so we'd have to go right after the baby's born to go get all that stuff in the hospital. And then instead of like having people wait on you and you be able to sleep after you're just had the baby, I'm having to wait in a waiting room to get that stuff done, which does not seem fun. And so we kind of skipped that idea of the midwife, and then we went to see a different doctor that said he was more natural, and everybody in their office, the lady in the office told my husband to take my daughter out in the hallway because she couldn't hear patients because my daughter was being fussy, which I kind of understand, but it was just her general mannerisms that were just kind of rude. And then the nurse sat there and kind of went into a few things, and then went over a birth plan, and then was making, like, trying to justify what our last doctor did without even knowing that doctor or knowing the situation. And then the doctor came in and was trying to force a few things, and told me that even though he's the only one in his practice, that there's 6 other doctors that he rotates with that may or may not be okay with our birth plans. So again, I wasn't sure. I was feeling like I should just go back to my original doctor, who I really like, but who rotates with 8 other doctors, and who that's where our kind of horror story for the doctor portion happened for our last birth. So we decided to we were just kind of stuck in limbo at that point. And then my sister had a friend in town that mentioned a midwife that's part of a doctor's office that takes our insurance, which I'd call a midwife that was part of a doctor's office, and they just stopped taking it. So so we met with her, and she was great, very informative. There was birth ball positions on the wall instead of, you know, the next type of birth control I want. So I kind of like that, just the feel of the office and everything. And a cool thing that's on the side is that they do free 3D ultrasounds at 28 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that was something we we couldn't really afford with our firstborn. So so that's everything with having all not been daughter. I've been exhausted just basically since week 6. So he prescribed Zofran, or ondansetron, ondansetron, just a 4 milligram dose. And I was doing pretty good, but it wasn't, I was still kind of not doing extremely well on the Zofran. And I went to church, and we actually were attending a new church, and I had to go to the bathroom and throw up. So, and that was on the Zofran. So it's not foolproof at all, and that's how bad, you know, it is. That's also on a children's dose of Zofran, because I'm not very into medications. And the midwife then told me that Zofran is a Category B drug, and they just released a new Category A drug, which I've done more research on, which is Diclegis. And I've done some more research on it. It's actually not new. It was a it was on the market about 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and people got paranoid that it was giving them birth defects, and then they've done a ton of research from that point, and they have determined that it's Category A, that it has no birth defects, and all it is I think Unisom, the sleep, is like a sleep pill, and it's a low dose of that plus vitamin B6, so it's doxylamine succinate and paradoxine hydrochloride, and 10 milligrams of each of those. So this is a trial bottle she gave me that has just 12. What I don't like about it is that, like, some of the extra stuff that's on there is like shellac glaze, talc, and just a few things that's just like, really, did you have to use such unnatural things? Like, what is shellac glaze going to do to my insides? And then the pill is extremely small, and it's got like a little pregnant lady on it. Doop. And that's my last one, actually. So I was doing 1 in the night, and then she said to up it to 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. But these things make me so tired, and I'm sleeping all day, and then that makes me useless still for my daughter and for work, because I work full-time, and, or at least I'm trying to work full-time. I was out of it for about 2-3 weeks because of the morning sickness from week 6 to week 9, plus a cold on top of it. So, I'm just taking the Diclegis, but I can take the Zofran if I need to. The thing is that it's got, both of them make me so sleepy that I've just upped it to 2 in the evening for the Diclegis, and normally that'll kind of carry me through until the afternoon point, but it has not been foolproof. It's just been kind of all around, and I just have to choose whether I'm going to kind of feel sick or do or sleep, and that kind of sucks. And I think that the best thing that I found so far for keeping, making me feel a little bit better, is keeping protein. So I'm eating chicken. I'll kind of do a cheese stick if it's like really fast, like a little mozzarella cheese stick. Nuts have been a little bit more hard for me, so lighter nuts like pecans or softer ones have been feeling a little bit better to snack on, but I can only do a couple at a time. And for some reason I haven't been able to really drink a lot of water. So I've just been drinking like super small cups like that, like just this little itty bitty cup of water. And if I drink any more than that, then I don't feel very good. So also I've been dealing with eczema issues and realized just in these past few months that it's all linked with nightshades and eggs. So I get to stay away from all the things I love, all the breakfast food I love. So I can't have eggs, and I can't have tomatoes, potatoes, white potatoes. I can have sweet potatoes because they're not in the same family. And all peppers, all bell peppers, all spicy peppers, paprika, which is in like everything. Paprika is like in all fast food, in all food. And just all peppers. And then there's also eggplant, goji berries, and a couple other things. And if you don't know about nightshade, you can Google it. It's actually kind of a long list of things that are in the nightshade family, but most of them really aren't that popular, except for the tomatoes, the potatoes, the peppers, and eggplant. Yeah, give or take, it's not really that scary of a thing. I mean, it's not in everything. Eggplant isn't really highly used in our society or in America. So, then with the eczema, I've been trying to use a tube of aloe vera oil to cool it down real quick, to soothe it. And then and these will kind of sting now. They used to not to. But I'll either use the Shea Moisture baby line with the frankincense and myrrh, or I'll use some Aveeno anti-itch. Now both of these will cause me to sting, but if I put a layer of aloe vera on first, that helps. And I have a aloe vera that does not contain alcohol. The aloe vera that does, but at least it'll help kind of reduce some of that initial pain and go to a cooling sensation, and then you put one of these on and it makes it feel better. So if you're suffering with that, there's a tip for you. And that's kind of my summation of my first trimester. Cool. And have a great day.